Hi everyone, my name's Kristen. I also go by Ms.Filmingo and welcome to today's video. Well, it's been a minute since I've been able to give you guys an exclusive interview, and today I have one for you all. Today we are speaking with Christopher Leone, who is the director and co-writer of the film Code 3, along with co-writer Patrick Pianezza. Code 3 is a wonderfully authentic and emotional film that will have you at the edge of your seat. The movie stars Rainn Wilson, Lil Rel Howery, Amy Carrero, Rob Riggle, and Yvette Nicole Brown. Before we jump into our interview with Christopher and Patrick, I would like to give you all a brief synopsis of the film. On his final 24-hour shift, a burned-out paramedic is tasked with training his eager but inexperienced replacement. What starts as a routine night quickly spirals into a chaotic citywide odyssey that tests their endurance, instincts, and sense of humor as they race from one emergency to the next. Now that you know a little bit about the film, let's cut over to my interview. It's so lovely to meet you both. Congratulations on Code 3. I really enjoyed the heck out of this. I thought this was such a unique film. I love the story, I love the characters, and I'm so anxious to get to know more about the film and learn more about you guys and working on this project.
Well, thank
So, yes, of course. So, how did you two connect, and why did you both think this was a very important story to tell?
Well, this whole movie is my brother's fault. Who's the
Okay.
producer and was a coworker with Chris. So I wrote the short story back in college, and my brother kind of forced me to write the first version of the script and worked with Chris and wore him down to read the first version because he said he didn't want to read it.
well, the thing is, when
Oh,
you're a writer, people always want you to read their stuff, right? So,
yeah.
so Paul Pianezza comes to me one day and he says, "Hey, do you want to read a script my brother wrote?" And I said, "Not really." And he said, "No, you should read it. It's really funny. It's a comedy about paramedics." And I was like, "What does your brother know about paramedics?" And he says, "He is a paramedic." All right, well, now I have to read that.
Yeah.
Um, and the fact that he saw this job as a comedy blew my mind. And like I said, usually in a movie, the paramedic is the guy, wheeling the hero into the back of the ambulance at the end of the movie. So, so a story where you actually go to see what the job really is. We all think we know what the job is, like we have no idea. And
Hmm.
and so the script was amazing, and then we just developed it over. I mean, we kept working on it for like a decade.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a really long process, and and as we worked on it, it got deeper and stronger, and it became, yeah, like a sort of an obsession.
Yeah. So I love the fact that, Patrick, you were a paramedic. Are you still a paramedic to this day, or you're like, no, this
I
is,
am.
oh, okay,
I'm not
that's
I'm
amazing.
not working, but yes, I still have my patch, and it's funny. So I was a paramedic for a decade, then I let it lapse, and then I didn't have it for 10 years, and then I just got it again last year. So I am still nationally registered and licensed in the state of California as a paramedic.
Okay, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for everything that you do. Because one thing I took away from this film is seeing how the character of Randy doesn't really see himself as a hero. And I feel like maybe is that geared towards like a lot of paramedics, they don't see themselves as heroes. I see them as heroes. You guys do a lot of work, you put a lot of, energy into saving a person's life or helping an individual. What was it like building the character of Randy and bringing him to the screen?
Well, I think part of that is if so I will speak in broad terms, and then I'll bring this back to myself. Generally,
Hmm.
you get into a problem if you start to see yourself as a hero. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're called paragods for a reason, people that just think
Yes.
they walk on water. And I'm not dismissing that. But once you start to believe that ethos, you're no longer really useful. You just think you think you know everything, and that's when somebody dies on you because you did something stupid. Um, there's a great quote that I couldn't tell you who said it. It's in our circle, and when I say ours, the EMS circle, that says, um, "I'm not a hero. I'm just a well-trained person who's put in heroic situations." And I think that's the best way to look at the job, because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I know how to save your life, but that doesn't mean I automatically sprout angel wings and like wear a cape and walk through town, because
Hmm.
that's also not relevant. And as it pertains to how Rain's character kind of develops, is that same idea also contributes significantly to burnout, because because of that highly specialized training, what ends up happening is like you start to feel like I need a vacation, I need a break, I want to quit, or I want to leave. And then the other part, the real part that really pulls apart that is, but I have this really niche specialized skill set that if I don't come to work, people might die. And
Yeah.
so it's constant ping pong, and to see Rain really embrace that, and I think really well portray that on screen was really amazing.
Yeah. So, Christopher, I want to get into your brain. What was it like building out this entire film and getting to tell this story? Because I know the last one we worked on was like 10 years ago. I know you both worked really hard on, Code 3 together. So, what was it like directing this project?
Well, the interesting thing was developing it, like I said, first as a comedy, but
Hmm.
trying to find a story where we weren't like forcing a plot onto it. Really was the job, right? And the job goes on, you're just call after call after call. So the development was finding a journey for Rain's character. And I think the movie starts out really funny and really
Yes.
energetic. And as the movie goes on, it kind of accumulates this emotional weight as you see what the job of a paramedic really is. And it goes to some pretty tough places at times. And so it's a really interesting mix. And so I knew that the cast had to be comedic actors who could go to the dark side.
Hmm.
Um, and Rain being the absolute ideal of that. I mean, like I said, I was a huge Rainn Wilson fan before we made this movie. Um, uh, I mean, and especially, I mean, I loved him in Super, I loved him in 6 Feet Under, but he's so iconic
Hmm.
as Dwight Schrute in The
Yes.
Office. And like I said, the thing I loved about Dwight was like there's this incredible depth to him. Like he's hilarious. I mean, he's one of the most iconic TV characters ever. But he's got
Hmm.
like an actual danger to him too that I find
Yes.
so interesting. And the fact that in this movie, Rain can be so funny, and then and the more stressed out he gets, the funnier he gets. Um, and yet, like I said, and then also live with his guts out really, and trying
Hmm.
to go through some tough situations and seeing his journey sort of through darkness and out the other side. I think is
Right.
really fun.
And I love the cast too. Rainn Wilson. Oh my gosh, you said it perfectly. He's just so good in this film. I haven't seen him like give like almost a perfect role in a really, really long time. And Lil Rel Howery is just, oh my gosh, lots of great emotional dialogues that we see. One of my favorite scenes in this film is when Rel is with that one oh gosh, I'm thinking of I want to say the thing correctly. He was the soldier. The
Yeah.
yep, he
Mr.
was
President.
experiencing, yes, Mr. President, thank you. He was experiencing PTSD and all this. I love that scene. That scene gave me so many chills. Please talk about building this cast because it was phenomenal here.
Well, I mean, first of all, Lil Rel is one of the funniest people alive.
Yes.
But that scene, he goes to a dramatic place that I think will kind of astonish people. I mean, and he's so
Yeah.
funny in the movie. There are times shooting it, like I would just be crying laughing. But that whole scene, that is something that's based on a real patient that Patrick had. And the whole movie, every call they go on is based on a real call that Patrick was on.
Yes. So one thing I enjoyed learning about from watching this film is learning more about the healthcare system and how, EMS workers are treated. I was very surprised to learn that, these guys earn less than like a lot of other people who work in this field. Is there something that you both believe needs to change going forward after audiences watch the movie?
Well, my goal is that when whoever sees this movie, that the field providers feel seen and appreciated and recognized for the incredibly challenging work that they do day in and day out. As far as systematic changes, we, I think, are bold enough to highlight some of the significant issues in the U.S.
Hmm.
healthcare system, but we are not so parochial as to tell you what the solutions are, because as anything in healthcare, it gets really thorny really quickly. And I have a
Yeah.
master's in healthcare administration and have been in those spaces. So it's never one simple thing like, well, just pay them more. Well, you got to talk about reimbursement rates, and you have to talk about insurance companies,
Right.
and far beyond the scope of this interview. But um, yeah, the big thing for me that we wanted to highlight, that I wanted to highlight, was certainly pay disparities amongst EMS providers, um, the healthcare disparities in socioeconomic and racial classes that we see, and the lack of mental health care. And so when we bring these things to light, I think it's important to shine a light on it without telling you what the solution is, because I don't claim to be, a healthcare policymaker.
Hmm.
Yeah. I would say the whole point of this movie is to sort of give the rest of us the feeling of what it's really like to be a paramedic, and it's like I said, it's completely surprising in all sorts of ways. And the whole design of the movie is to make you feel like you're the fourth paramedic in the ambulance.
Yeah, that concludes today's interview. Please go check out Code 3 in theaters on September 12th. This also wraps up today's video. Please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so I can bring you more videos like this in the future. And don't forget to follow me on my socials. They'll be linked down below. I'll see you all next time. Bye!